first started doing music, I thought, because I'm a Christian and because I do music, the number one way to give God my gift, the only thing that I should do or can do with my gift is to be a worship leader and just like lead worship on a Sunday morning in a church, like do that whole thing. And I think that's awesome, and I think that there is a mandate for that, that is necessary, and I do that. I'm a worship pastor, like I believe in that wholeheartedly. But I thought that was the only way to serve God with my gift as an artist, as a singer-songwriter. And I remember playing at this open mic. The Lord led me to play this song, this open mic, and I went and did the song. And when I opened my eyes, the majority of the room was crying in the room. And I was like, man, like I must have been really bad. Like people are crying. Like it must have been horrible. Their ears are bleeding, you know. And so I got off the stage, and these girls came up to me, and they were like, while you were singing, we felt chill bumps, and we felt things happening on the inside of us when you were singing. What was that? And it was an immediate paradigm shift for me, where I realized, oh my goodness, like God just met people through my music outside of the four walls of the church, and I wasn't singing a worship song. What in the world? Like it was a game changer for me, where I realized like, oh, like God gives, he's so jealous for people that like he's willing to give songs and to tell parables through song through his sons and daughters just to reach people that maybe never ever would step foot into a church. Yeah. And it's like the reality is, if we believe that we have something that will work on a Sunday morning, if we believe that we have songs and dances and videos that are so anointed that will work on the Sunday morning, that will draw hearts into him, it is unfair. It's unfair to assume that those same songs or that whatever you're carrying in that space wouldn't also work in a coffee shop or on a college campus or in a bar or whatever it is, you know? And so I've just like fallen in love with seeing God encounter people outside the four walls of the church, like in these other spaces, through songs that are actually just telling stories that provoke people to want to know who he is, you know, or provoke people to want to know like, what is this peace that I'm feeling right now when this girl is singing this song? Like, what is that? Like Jesus, so much of Jesus's ministry was just telling parables. He was just telling stories, you know. He's walking around and he's telling parables. He's telling people, oh, the kingdom of heaven is like this tree. The kingdom of heaven is like this flower right here. It's like this guy that like he's just telling all these stories. But that's what he was using to tell people about how to do life in the kingdom and how to do life where he's from and what things are like when you walk with him, you know. And but he's doing stories to do it. So much so that the disciples went up to him one day and was like, bruh, why you keep telling these stories? Like, we're kind of irritated. Just say what it is. Like, stop talking in code. And basically his response to them in so many words was like, oh, these aren't for you. These parables aren't for you. You already know. Like, you already get this. Like, this is for the people that they don't get it. I have to speak to them differently so that they can understand me in the kingdom. They can understand the ways of God. I can give it to them in a digestible way, a way that they can actually eat it and they can take it in and understand it. And when you do that for so long, when you give people stories, when you give people the kingdom in bite-sized pieces, there's no way that you can expose people to the kingdom and they will not begin to hunger and thirst for the king. Like if you give people the kingdom enough, like if you just make it reachable, accessible to them, which is what Jesus did, you know, he's like, hey, I'm right here, I'm at hand, I'm here, so the kingdom is near. Like I'm just giving you a taste of what the kingdom is like by just walking with you. Our music has the ability to do that. Our videos have the ability to do that. Our poems, our spoken word pieces, our plays, our movies, our short films, like all have the capacity to give people the kingdom through stories and all kinds of other creative ways. But the more we give them access, the more we make space for this hunger to be developed in people to want the kingdom. I mean, to want the king. Like the kingdom only it only increases their appetite to want to know the source and who it's coming, who's responsible for this culture, who's responsible for the peace that I feel, who's responsible for the joy that I'm sensing through this song. Like, what is this? Like, where do I get this? How do I get access to this? And then we can say, oh, that's Jesus. Yeah. But like, it can happen through a story. That can happen through a piece, the storyline that you guys are doing, through a dance, through a storyline of, there's so many things, but like stories, parables. Jesus, if Jesus can use that as his ministry strategy, like, why can't we? Yeah, like, you know what I mean? There's not just this one way that we can reach people. You gotta get them to church so they can encounter God. It's like, no, like, bring the presence to them through your creative expression. That's what we have an opportunity to do, you know? Yeah.